Hello everybody and welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic, I guess, springtime. I hope the weather isn't bothering you too much. I mean, when I'm at work, I don't know, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know if you work in the office or not, but every time when I go into the offices, it's just like a heaven. When we're working outside, working in forklifts and stuff like that, it's like a greenhouse. So if you are new around here, you've not seen my face before, I do try to bring out Leeds United content on maybe a daily basis, twice a week, 3 times a week, and there's going to be a lot more content from me as well. So if you are enjoying these types of videos of just me ranting, going on about Leeds United news, match reviews, hopefully live streams eventually, short videos will be also implemented in the channel too, and we want to be able to try and get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So by subscribing to the channel, it's free. Liking the videos, it's free. So obviously I would be very appreciative if that happened. And as you can tell by today's title, we're going to be talking about what went wrong at Leeds United, and in a sense, are Leeds United doomed for the future? And personally, when Marcelo Bielsa took charge of Leeds United, I personally didn't know who he was. I didn't really do like much research on him. I personally didn't really want an unknown person coming to the club, and by God, wasn't he like, in a sense, the godfather of Leeds United, the godfather of football, and he brought that huge philosophy of attacking, possession-based football to the club that we've not really seen, to be honest with you. And it was we can sit here and say that we love the man, and his legacy is always going to be part of Leeds United now. Of course, we've had managers after Marcelo Bielsa, which was Jesse Marsch, unfortunately didn't work, Xavi Gracia, Michael Scabala, Sam Allardyce as well, another few managers who came in to try and succeed Marcelo, but unfortunately it didn't work. So we have to put into perspective as well. It's like, what went wrong with Leeds United? Was it the owners? Was it the managers? Or was it the players? Personally, if you want to put it in order, I personally think it goes the manager. I mean the owners of the club, the players of the club, and the manager of the club. Because personally, I don't think Jesse Marsch was a bad coach. I just don't think he was suited for the Premier League. But I mean, he was getting a lot of criticism by a lot of Leeds United fans. But to me, if it was in a different league, I personally think he's going to do well. I know he was linked with a Celtic job, but Brendan Rodgers, I think, has gotten that. But unfortunately, with the players that we brought in, fair enough, there was a few. Tyler Adams was a decent one. Mark Rocker at the start was okay, but the rest of the players like Christensen, Vobo was all right until towards the end. Brendan Harrison was just a waste of money. So I think with the recruitment side of things, I thought it was poor business, because it's like, if you look at Brighton, if you look at Brentford, if you look at like even Fulham, these are the types of teams who go out there and spend little amount of money but bring in huge talent and can attract huge talent. And it just goes to show that with the right people surrounding the board, and the club can go in the direction where they need to be. And look at Brighton. Ever since it was in the Premier League, I think it's like the 6th season now, and they've got into Europe for the first time. Brentford are a decent side. Thomas Frank has done an unbelievable job for the 3rd season now, going into the 3rd season, I believe. I think they're going to be a solid Premier League team. But then it comes down to the players, because if there's going to be like 4 or 5 managers, or 4 managers after Marcelo Bielsa, who constantly concede goals, who cannot, in a sense, take the chances when we need them, and in a sense dominate the midfield area, there has to be some sort of problem. Because it's like, even though we had Sam Allardyce, the king of defence, shall we say, even he struggled to keep out goals. Like, we were shipping in like the average of, like, was it 1.7 goals per game, or it was something around about that statistic. So it just goes to show, doesn't it? It's like, he can work with decent players, and we saw positives when it came to Sam Allardyce. We saw positives when it came to Xavi Gracia. But unfortunately, I personally think it was the players that were just not up to the Premier League standard. I don't think that. Brendan Harrison, I think he's a Championship player. Mark Rocker, I don't really think the Premier League suits him. I feel like he's more of a Serie A or La Liga type of player, because obviously the press is different, the type of football is just completely different. Adams, he was just a fantastic signing. McKennie, I don't really think the Premier League suited him either. To me, I think fair enough he was played out of position, but still I feel like the Premier League was still a step above where he can be, if that makes sense. And a few other signings as well, like obviously Junior Firpo, he was hit and miss. We've got Dan James coming back on loan from Fulham, so that's going to be interesting to see what it's going to be like in the Championship. And as well, then it comes down to the managers. And I personally don't think the managers could do anything better than what they already had. Like, I always rated Sam Allardyce, I rated Xavi Gracia, but unfortunately with Xavi Gracia, he was just too stubborn, wasn't he? He didn't want to like change his tactics. He didn't want to like implement any of like the youngsters. Like Nonto just didn't seem to get any minutes under his belt. Somerville didn't really get many minutes, I don't think. And then obviously when it came to Sam Allardyce, he just wanted all the experienced players too. So to me, I think it's the right thing for Leeds United to go down. We've got a blueprint now under the 49ers. We can go buy decent players who have in a sense proved themselves in the Championship. We can go out and buy players from the Premier League to step down. Maybe that's loanies or not, but with Leeds United loaning out players, is this going to be a return of like Diego Costa? Is it going to be a return of Dan James to be in the first team, or are we going to be implementing some other structure? So to me, I think where it all went wrong was we have to blame the board, don't we? We have to blame the rubbish, the delusional, in denial of this club, because they'll sit there and say that, oh yeah, we will not be relegated. We'll be continuously fighting in the Premier League to get Europa League. But with the signings and the acquisitions of these players, like, to me, I've always said, like, when we bought Jorginho Rutter, I personally said, why don't we go buy Danny Ings? I made a video, actually, a few months or a month before the transfer window opened in January, and I was like, well, why don't we go buy Danny Ings? He went to West Ham for about £13 million or something. He did okay, didn't really do much, but he did okay. But he's the type of striker we could have like got on the cheap. But no, Victor, obviously, he continuously wants the Hollywood signing. He always wants to buy projects for the future. Fair enough, it's going to help us in this situation right now because we can bank money on players. But for when we're in the Premier League, we have to be working from the back to front. We buy a decent striker, then we work on the defence. Buy a decent goalkeeper, and then buy decent midfielders, you know? That's how I would do it. I'd work on the defence because obviously in the last two seasons, Leeds United have shipped over 75 goals a season. So that's 150 goals in 2 seasons in the Premier League. And it's like, we know exactly what we need as a fan base, but the sporting director, Victor Orta, he didn't want to listen. He didn't want to buy any players. What that was in a sense needed, or players that were well known or well developed in the Premier League. So from Marcelo Bielsa, it just went all downhill from there, didn't it? I mean, we all know how much of a control freak, shall we say, Marcelo was. He wanted everything his way, and he got that. He got that control over the board, like, because since he was such a high figure in football and a very intelligent man, Victor Orta and Andrea Radrizzani had so much faith in him, and that's fine. But after that, it was just like a ship sinking, and Leeds United started becoming like a broken ship. Like, pieces just started to be missing, and just things just started to go downhill from there. So it just goes to show that the shipment away from Marcelo Bielsa was just the wrong type of philosophy that the board was going on. And now with Andrea Radrizzani and Victor Orta out of the picture, I'm hoping that Leeds United will pick up from there and will use a different type of blueprint and, in a sense, succeed in the Championship and get back to the Premier League, where I personally think Leeds United belong, and I think a lot of you guys think the same too. So this is where I think Leeds United went wrong. The board, for number one, the players too, just in a sense just gave up, and their recruitment was poor. and then obviously 3, the managers just didn't seem to know what to do, so the tactics and the strategies just started to unfold, and it was easy for teams to, in a sense, defeat us, wasn't it? So hopefully the 49ers can make everything right, and I guess we just have to wait and see. And I'm being very positive. Like, I personally think that will go up, but I think it'll be through the playoffs. But I'm going to do a video regarding the fixtures. I'm going to go through every single fixture to see what the results are, and then hopefully we can see which games we can win, draw and lose, and I'm going to go through every single one of them, and then hopefully by the end of it we can make a table, and then we can see where the championship lies. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below. I want you guys to give your opinion on where the club went wrong, and are you excited for the championship, or are you nervous? But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.